Antonio, thank you for coming back. I hope last week was pretty good. I want to go ahead and start out with a mood check.
All right.
And what this mood check is, giving you the scale is from 0 to 10, 0 being no depression at all, and 10 being you was really stressed or depressed last week. So on that scale, um, based on last week, what would you gauge that scale to be? What number?
7.
Okay, 7. Now, can you give me an example in a few words as to why it was a 7 this past week?
Well, first of all, girlfriend broke up with me.
Okay.
So not spending a lot of time with one another. I'm now working, so I'm doing a 12-hour shift.
Okay.
So Amazon got me running.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. So as far as the agenda today, we're definitely going to talk about depression. We're going to go kind of further into detail. Last time we didn't get that opportunity, but this time I'm going to do some education on depression, and I'm going to talk about the importance of it and why it happens, some of the symptoms and some of the causes of it. But as far as last week, is there anything else that went on that you would like to talk about? Any other problems?
No, not really.
Okay. So last week, I gave you some homework. Did you get a chance or opportunity to look over it and to do it?
Yeah, I looked over it. I actually worked on it a little bit. That's not a lot because I was working.
Okay. Okay.
I was a little bit upset because my girlfriend broke up with me. So.
Okay. Well, if you would, can you go ahead and read what we talked about last week for your homework?
Well, we talked about if I start thinking about I'm lazy, no good, I need to remind myself that I have a real illness called depression, and that it makes it hard for me to do things. As treatment starts to work, my depression will lift, and things will get easier for me.
Yes.
And we talked about reading goals, adding goals to my list, meeting. And when I notice my mood getting worse, I'm gonna ask myself what's going through my mind right now at that time, and jot that down for you. Because you asked me to jot it down for you. Then I remind myself because I'm thinking something doesn't necessarily mean that that's actually true.
Okay. So this homework, how do you on that same scale that we continue to use, on that scale of 0 being didn't help you at all, and 10 being it seemed to be pretty helpful. Based on the amount that you did, what scale would you use as far as the homework?
Well, the scale was good, and I often forgot to think about it, using it. But just like right now, start thinking about it. I get a sense of reality that it's not necessarily true. Could be a reason why she broke up with me is because of work. Could be my assumption. She didn't really say that.
Okay.
So I see it being like a 5.
Okay, fine. So we talked about your diagnosis being depression, and so I want to talk to you a little more about depression, and I want you to understand that it's many people that suffer from this particular illness, and part of the homework was for you to understand that it is a serious illness. There is a negative stigma that comes along with depression, and for that reason, a lot of times people don't even want to report it. They don't want to act like they have issues with it. So I want you to feel comfortable in understanding that it is an illness, but the good part about this particular illness is it's treatable. And again, we use cognitive behavior therapy often in treating people, and it has proved by evidence, meaning other people have had depression and their depression levels have decreased based on using cognitive behavior therapy. Now, what cognitive behavior therapy is of course, is things happen, situations happen, and when those situations happen, it causes us to have an automatic thought. And when that automatic thought comes in, whether it's positive or negative, it reacts to how it makes us act a certain way behaviorally. So, for an example, if we use your example you just talked about, last week when your girlfriend broke up with you, negative thoughts entered in your mind. And as those negative thoughts entered, for whatever reason they entered, it caused a reaction. And part of that reaction was you didn't feel like doing anything, your depression level increased, and so you really, for whatever reason, felt that you was either incompetent or self-worthless, or you didn't care about as much as you normally care.
Right.
So what cognitive behavior therapy does is it helps for you to relook at those negative automatic thoughts that came in.
Right.
So part of the homework assignment you had last week, when you relook at it, you'll see that it talks about how that not only is depression an illness, but also that it's a struggle sometimes for you to get up, for you to do things, and you need to understand that that's part of the illness, not that you're just lazy, that you're just not worth anything. Bless you. So with that being said, we're going to continue to work with depression and this cognitive behavior therapy, but I want you to understand that it's important for you to have some goals. Mm-hmm. And so if we could come up with some goals for you to work on this particular week, what do your depression level last week was a 7. Mm-hmm. What kind of goal would you like to see to make that number decrease this coming week?
Well, I'd like to work on extracurricular activities, just things getting outside the house. Okay. Maybe going to walk on the Greenway Trail, or some other activity as far as maybe walk around in the mall, just to get out and exercise and take my mind off of it, hopefully. Maybe swim.
Okay. Swim. Okay. So those are some good goals, and that leads us into our next part of this structure, which is the new homework assignment. And so what I want to challenge you for this week is we're going to do something called a behavioral activation assignment. And what this is during this week, when you know you need to get up and do something and you don't want to, I want you to kind of document that. But what I challenge you to do this week is I want you to kind of push through those negative feelings. And even though you don't feel like getting up, going to take a walk, I want you to try as much as you can to get up and take a walk. Okay. And as you do that, I want you to kind of document how you made it through, how you pushed through that process. And when we come back next week, what we'll do, we'll sit down and we'll look at it and we'll talk about it, we'll examine it, and we'll go back to some of those negative thoughts you had, that even though you had those negative thoughts, you added and pushed through with positive thoughts, which got you out the house and you was able to go walking or able to go to the mall or able to swim. How does that sound?
That sounds good. That sounds real good.
Okay, well, good. So as far as other issues, we do understand that a lot of times depression comes along with other things like anxiety and all these other things. But we're just focusing on the depression aspect today. Mm-hmm. But I want to now kind of summarize some of the things we talked about. First and foremost, we came in and we did a mood check, and you said your mood check from last week was at a 7. Mm-hmm. You gave me an example of the reason why it appeared to be high this particular week was because your girlfriend broke up with you. Mm. And because of that was part of your depression. We came back and said we looked at the homework. Mm-hmm. We tried to apply the homework to the particular example that you gave me, saying that even when you read the homework is a positive aspect of what's going on. So again, even that homework assignment was trying to retrain the way you think about not only yourself, but about your illness as a whole, as far as your depression and your moods that come along with the depression. So we went over that. We then kind of prioritized the things that we were going to talk about, which the main thing was that depression. You mentioned that there was nothing else that we really needed to be concerned with on today's session. We then talked about cognitive behavior therapy and how it applies to depression, and we talked about the importance of the education of understanding what depression is and how it affects us and how it is treatable. But again, I always feel that it's important for us to understand that even though it's treatable, you have a part in that. And part of what you have to do is the homework. Because I feel that the homework is an extension of what you learned while we were in therapy. Mm-hmm. So I feel that homework is important. And to a point, you said you did it last week, and I appreciate that. And I just want you to make a better concerted effort this coming week to really work on the behavior activity that we had set up for today. We then said that you gave me a concept of, as far as your homework being on a gauge, it was around a 5. Mm-hmm. So with that, it lets me know that you feel that the homework can be conducive to what you're trying to do.
Yes.
You just have to put just
just
a tad bit more effort in hopes that it will help you throughout the week, because our session only lasts for 45 minutes to an hour, but the homework can assist you throughout the week. Right. And if you have problems or issues or concerns, that you can always call, or you can always write them down so that we can address them the next week. And then at the end, we review the new homework assignment that we talked about just now, the importance of you trying to get out the house. And you said one of your goals was to get out the house more this week, maybe to go for a walk, or maybe to go to the mall, or maybe to go to for a swim.
Yeah.
And all those things not only helps with depression, but it also helps with anxiety, and it helps with stress and a lot of other things that come along with the depression. So again, I challenge you to do your homework this week, but to also kind of push through, because every day is not going to be a good day. But if you can get through and you can kind of articulate that, we can look back again and try to figure out what was going on with those negative thoughts.
Okay.
Do you think I missed anything? Anything you want to add?
You cover everything.
Okay.
Cover everything, Doc. So I just looking forward to trying to get it done. I mean, clearly pointed out that stress is a little bit less than what it was when it was last week, when I actually started analyzing the stress reliever that was put in place. So it looks like it's going in the right direction. So I'm happy.
Okay. Well, again, I appreciate you coming. Again, I want you to make a concerted effort this week to work on the homework, and then next week we'll sit down and talk about it.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.